Well, you mentioned the plumber. Is he still hurt now or hurt again or been locked up, taken away, tied up, and held for ransom? What's his status?
Did you see I haven't read it yet, but a lot of people were posting quotes from it in the Cult of Cornette Facebook group and on Twitter. There's an article, here, I have it here, from your good friends, Jim, at The Messenger.
Don't shoot the messenger.
AEW's Jon Moxley calls for major industry change after suffering concussion in the ring. Exclusive. Moxley was injured during a match on AEW Dynamite last month, which sent him to, quote, f***ing outer space for 10 minutes. And now he's proposing an idea how to better protect wrestlers, and this is by Daniel Traynor.
You know what? I got the first idea. If you are a wrestler that's been knocked into fucking outer space, don't go 10 more minutes.
Here's the question before we read any of this. Are Moxley's groundbreaking suggestions going to be the things that anyone would say who wasn't already doing this? Is he just like, now that he got knocked in the head, he's like, wow, I just realized what everyone else has been saying about how stupid everything we do is.
Well, of course, that's what it is. But also, if he wanted to make industry-wide change, he was probably in the place that he may have been able to do it. The one that leads the industry. But he couldn't hack it there, and he didn't like it. So he went to play with his friends, and now he ain't going to change shit because none of these guys are going to do anything that they don't want to do.
If I could make this time machine work backwards, I wish I could be in the room for Moxley pitching to Heyman and Brock Lesnar what he wanted to do. I would pay anything to be in the room to hear that conversation. But here's the article, once again, by Daniel Traynor, The Messenger. I don't know if he's The Messenger or just writes for The Messenger. Jon Moxley was standing in front of more than 10,000 wrestling fans inside New York's Arthur Ashe Stadium, but he had absolutely no idea where he was. During Moxley's AEW International Championship defense against Rey Fenix at AEW Dynamite Grand Slam on September 20th, Moxley suffered a mild concussion at the start of their match. Moxley exclusively told The Messenger the concussion happened, quote, 30 seconds in, end quote, which ultimately sent him to, quote, fucking outer space for like 10 minutes. I just kept getting progressively more lost. I couldn't figure out where the fuck I was. Then, I had this moment of clarity. Oh, I'm fucked up. I gotta get the fuck out of here. So an in-ring audible was called to end the match early and give the title to
Small
Phoenix.
package, you fucking moron.
Not pile driver?
Small package the guy. Just small package the fucking, you're supposed to win. You're hurt. Here are your options. Small package the fucking guy, 1, 2, 3, and the doctor comes in, or the other guy picks you up over his fucking shoulder and drops you on your head again. Twice. Which one should you pick?
It is funny. I mean, you said just roll him up. He gave him a pile driver, then gave him a second pile driver.
Sunset flip, small package. Sunset flip. Good God, I've seen a motherfucker win a match that had a broken leg when he was supposed to win. I don't. All
hey
right,
Doc,
okay.
if I ever get a concussion, what should I definitely not do if I'm not able to communicate or no one picks up on it? Just definitely don't do a pile driver, let alone 2. Back to back. So an in-ring audible was called to end the match early and give the title to Phoenix. Moxley returned to action on AEW Collision last week, but even being out of action a month was difficult for him. I'm a very physical person. I like wrestling for the sake of wrestling. I like to do shit with my body. So, sitting still and being injured is always very challenging. Now fully in the clear.
I can't believe they put up with him up there as long as they did.
Now,
if he was talking like that around normal adult people in the business, I don't know how the fuck somebody didn't fucking go into business for themselves and just throw him out in the parking lot. Go ahead.
Now fully in the clear, Moxley said the industry needs to adopt better safeguards to protect wrestlers in the ring. In pro wrestling, it's a really touchy subject, Moxley said, but acknowledged bluntly, Somebody's gotta fucking bring it up. Pro wrestling is such a strange thing. In football, if a guy goes down and doesn't go back to the huddle, you know he's fucked up. In pro wrestling, a lot of times it's hard to tell what's real and what's fake.
Not when you're in the ring.
Moving forward, Moxley has a vision for a new system that he thinks might work. Maybe a really experienced wrestler and a really experienced doctor who are trained to see signs of that shit are watching it on a separate feed. Even if they have a doctor close to ringside. What if the guy fucking spills outside the ring? He doesn't see that. As Moxley articulates...
What the fuck?
Both these...
He does? Is that what you call that? Articulating?
As Moxley articulates, these two hypothetical individuals would have no prior knowledge of what they were about to see. The doctor and the wrestler are completely untethered to the creative portion of it.
Oh, good Lord.
They have no idea nor any interest in what the story is. Who wins? Who loses?
Who
how
cares?
long it's supposed to go.
What point is he making? So because they don't know what the guy's finish is, that means that they'll be able to better identify it when some motherfucker bashes another fucker's brains in? That anybody hasn't seen almost every fucking time these people are injured, that they're injured. Moxley, when he got fucking landed on by Felix the first time with the flip dive, got up and his legs were rubber and he went back down. And everybody could tell there. The referees are useless and feckless and dickless. And the fucking Felix comes from Luchador City, where they probably land on each other 15 times a night and concuss each other. Nobody even knows.
Didn't it happen
Nobody
to
knew
Danielson?
what the fuck was going on there.
Didn't it happen to Danielson once in WWE? He was wrestling a match on Raw, and they thought he was concussed, and I think he was. And like Triple H actually came out to stop the match.
Yes, I believe he did.
And he was angry about it. He wanted to keep wrestling. And they're like, no, we're going to stop this. There's none of that in AEW.
But here's the thing. Again, nobody knew what the viewers, the fans, the people watching television, the people in the arena, nobody knew what the finish was. They figured Moxley was going to keep the belt because why would you switch it? But nobody knew how long it was supposed to go, and nobody knew what the finish was. And nobody knew what...
Not even me.
Exactly, as it come to find out. But they didn't... When I say they didn't know what the finish was, they didn't know, okay, 3 drop kicks, 2 hip tosses, a body slam, whatever the fuck. So if Moxley got his bell rung and couldn't hardly get up, then at the start, then if he was feeling well enough to continue, he should have known... At that point, let's not do this 15-minute match. This fucking guy just landed on my head and fucked me up. And we're going to do whatever the fuck in a small package. And then in the locker room, I'll tell him, well, you landed on my fucking head. And I didn't know what I was doing, so we just got out of it. Or he should have told the referee, because the referee's wired up to the goddamn back. He can hear Tony in the back at the gorilla position. And if Tony said, scratch your head if Moxley's okay, and the referee didn't scratch his head, or reverse, scratch your head if Moxley's hurt and he scratches his head, then Tony should have said, then tell him to fucking take it home. There's all kinds of things that could have gone on before it got to the point, including, as we mentioned when we talked about the match, that Moxley had just hit Felix with 2 or 3 big moves and covered him and got 2 counts, and then he just decides, wait a minute, I can't go on any longer. Beat me. What the no. Has anybody got any sense and experience at the same time in this situation? The answer we found out was no, none whatsoever.
I like how the Blackpool Combat Club are the biggest, baddest team. Their fucking leader fled. And then you can't hit any of them in the face or they're out of action for months at a time. Let me finish off this article here.
All right, go. Yeah, please finish it off.
Once again from the Messenger, watch out, Justin Barrasso. Looks like someone's moving in on your territory. Why does Moxley think a wrestler needs to be watching alongside the doctor, you might ask? He's got that answered too.
If a guy fucking spins around or something and the doctor goes, "Is he okay?" The wrestler could tell him, "That's just a pro wrestling thing. Don't worry."
Oh my God.
Moxley's proposed system would make things as cut and dry as possible, no matter what it means for the overall competition.
As soon as the doctor sees a sign of somebody being concussed, he just fucking hits the red button.
Oh, jeez.
Oh no, I did that wrong.
He just hits the fucking red button. Boom. This is over. No matter how much time is left. No matter if it's on live TV. It's just over.
Why don't they give him a gong?
And you figure it out from there.
And you figure it out from there. You know what? Moxley's like the fucking Chick Donovan called a fucking spot one time with a guy. As he shot the guy off, he said, "One tackle, drop down, you finish it." And the guy's running the ropes going, "What? What?" That's the same, yeah, and you figure it out from there. Sure, somebody's going to need to, because you can't, you fucking pea-brain moron.
Oh my God, wait, we just have received word from Tony Khan. The red button has been pushed. Match is over. The match is over. Red button. The winner via red button.
A cone comes down over the rig, and then fog is shot into it as a decontamination. This guy's a simpleton. He's a simpleton, and he's got brain damage. You can tell. His brain has been damaged for the things he likes, the things he does, the things he says, whatever. But no, you don't need a doctor and a wrestler and a red button and a separate fucking feed.
And they know nothing about the booking. They can't know anything about what's going to happen.
And well, then in that case, how the fuck if they know what the finish is when a guy gets dropped on his head and is laying there selling, well, he's supposed to. Fucking morons for that matter. But besides that, I've been in the business for fucking 40 years. And every time that I can ever remember being on a show or doing commentary or being in a locker room, when somebody ever got fucking a concussion, they pretty much knew about it because the guy that got dropped on his head would say, "Hey, grab a hold. I'm fucking hurt." One time, Bobby Fulton, I remember this, the Fantastics against Ron Simmons and Butch Reed. Bobby got dropped or in some way landed on his head and finished the match, but then came in the locker room and didn't remember it. And then was freaking out because he couldn't remember finishing the match. But everybody around the ring has a part to play in it without putting extra people out there. The referee, both guys working with each other. You can see on the monitor if something really looked bad. That's why the X sign from the referees came into being, and then everybody got smart to it. And then they started working it to work the people, but the referee would tell the backstage gorilla position crew, "Yes, he's really fucked up," and they would send instructions to the referee of how to immediately get out of it. It's not, "Oh, well, we'll think about it and get back to you." I
have an update here. An article from Sports Illustrated just came up, SI.com, by Justin Barrasso. I bleed in the sunlight. Jon Moxley proposes new system to help with blood in wrestling.
It's come to my attention that bleeding is wrong.
It certainly has come to his attention.
I've got a concussion, so now I have ideas how to fix the whole business.
In other words, no. Just have some people with some experience and some common sense and are looking for things. And to be honest, again, I am going to say that I did 5, 6 years. And I did 300 one-hour OVW television programs that we aired here in Louisville over a 6-year period. And that was a wrestling school with the most inexperienced top-to-bottom crew that you would pretty much find doing anything on any television level anywhere. And I know we had concussions in training. I don't remember a concussion ever happening on the television program. And I don't remember ever having to stop one of the matches because anybody was hurt for real. Imagine that. And if you go back to Smoky Mountain Wrestling, where I did 200 one-hour television episodes of that, can you remember, you've seen most of those, was anybody ever hurt for real to where we had to stop the match or switch up what the fuck was going on? Just the fact that we're having to think this hard indicates it was rare.
Kanemaru kind of got hurt, but he asked for it.
Well, yeah, that was, and he did it to himself. So I'm talking about, an accidental goddamn injury that was unforeseen and,
Jericho breaking his arm, but no one was there, and that was before
he was practicing in the ring in an empty building and doing a flip that he didn't need to do that night.
Again, a lot of this comes down to style. And I'm not saying everyone has to wrestle like Big John Studd. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I like Bret Hart. Bret Hart was rarely ever injured for the majority of his career. And he wrestled good matches, physical matches. But look at what's happening now.
Wrestling smart. It's not wrestling hard or soft. It's wrestling smart. Jerry Lawler had some of the most exciting matches over a 15-year period that was going on in wrestling, and had never had a major knee surgery, he had various injuries from taking some of those bumps, but never anything spinal, neck, broke his leg playing fucking football.
Yeah, he didn't even hurt it in wrestling, he hurt it in football.
Yeah. Never wore knee pads till he was past 40. And and was run over by cars.
For those of you who are young, quite literally, go Google Jerry Lawler hit by a car and you can see Eddie Gilbert run over him on live television in 1990.
Yes. And as we've told, we'll finish the story and then we'll move on. So many people called the Memphis police to say they'd just seen a vehicular homicide on live television that the cops came to Channel 5 and made Lawler go back out on the TV before the end of the show to say that he was alive and killed the Angle. But anyway,